Imagine you're sitting alone in your room late at night, scrolling through horror stories like this one. The glow of your screen is the only light, casting eerie shadows that stretch across the walls. You're used to watching horror stories alone, but tonight feels different. It's colder, and the familiar creaks and groans of your house feel somehow amplified, like there's something hiding in the silence, waiting for you to notice it. Just as the story begins, a faint whisper breaks through the silence. It's almost too soft to notice at first, like a breeze slipping under a closed door. You increase the volume, thinking it's part of the video. But the whisper doesn't blend into the audio, it feels separate, like it's somewhere in the room with you. You strain to listen, your pulse quickening, and then you hear it. A voice unmistakably soft, speaking your name. Your heart skips a beat. You check the room, glancing over your shoulder, but there's no one there. It has to be a trick of your imagination, right? You shake it off, convincing yourself it's nothing, just a fluke, and go back to the video. But that creeping feeling lingers, the unsettling sensation of eyes on the back of your neck. It's that primal, instinctual fear, the kind that makes you feel small and vulnerable in the dark. You try to ignore it, telling yourself it's all in your head. But then your phone vibrates. The screen lights up with a notification, and you jump, your heart pounding. You grab your phone. The message is from an unknown number. The text is brief, almost taunting. Look behind you. For a moment, you don't breathe. Your hands feel cold, a creeping dread settling in your stomach. You look at the message, then around the room. The shadows feel heavier, somehow thicker, like they're hiding something. Your mind races with explanations. Maybe a friend is playing a cruel prank, or maybe it's some kind of automated spam. But a part of you knows that neither of those feels right. There's something deeply wrong about this, something that makes every nerve in your body scream in warning. You start to type a reply, to ask who it is, but your fingers hesitate. What if you're giving it or whoever it is permission to get closer? But before you can make up your mind, another message comes through. The same unknown number. I'm closer now. A shiver runs down your spine. You force yourself to look around again, your eyes sweeping over every corner of the room, trying to convince yourself it's all a prank. But as your eyes pass over the darkest corner, something catches your attention. Shape vague and blurry, but unmistakably there. A shadow that seems to stretch and shift, just on the edge of visibility. Your heart pounds louder as you squint, trying to see it more clearly, but the shadow seems to vanish, dissolving back into the darkness. Your phone vibrates again, pulling your attention back to the screen. This time it's not a text, but a video message. The thumbnail shows your room. Your heart races as you open the video, dread pooling in your stomach. The footage is shaky, like it's being filmed by someone hiding just out of sight. The camera pans slowly across the room, then stops on you sitting at your desk, staring at the screen. Just as you are right now. Your breath catches in your throat. You can see yourself in real time, watching this message. The video shows you from an angle just behind your shoulder, like someone is standing right there watching you. You look around wildly, but there's no one there. It's impossible. How could anyone have recorded this? You're alone, or at least you thought you were. Then in the video, the camera shifts, moving toward the far corner of your room. The same dark corner you thought you saw something in. The camera zooms in, and there in the shadows is a figure. Tall, thin, and wrapped in darkness, its face obscured, but its eyes, they're fixed on you. Watching. Waiting. The figure in the video begins to move, stepping out of the shadows, inching closer to where you sit. Its head tilts, as if it's studying you, feeding off your fear. You watch, frozen, as it moves closer and closer, its shadow stretching across the floor toward you. Just as it's about to touch you, the video cuts to static. You jolt, snapping out of the trance. The room is silent again, but you're on high alert, every sense heightened. You know it was just a video, but it felt so real. Too real. The sense of dread thickens, pressing down on you like a heavy weight, and you can't shake the feeling that something is still in the room with you, hidden just beyond your sight. Desperate for some sense of security, you grab your phone, trying to call someone, anyone. But the screen goes dark. Your phone has died, even though it was fully charged moments ago. Panic floods through you, and you stumble to your feet, backing away from your desk. You tell yourself it's all a sick prank, but the fear is too strong, the instinct too primal to ignore. Then from the corner of your room you hear it, a soft, raspy whisper, low and guttural, just barely audible, It's calling your name again, each syllable drawn out in a mocking, twisted tone. Your pulse pounds in your ears as you force yourself to look, heart hammering so hard you feel it might burst. There in the darkness you see it, a face, pale and distorted with hollow, unblinking eyes that seem to pierce right through you. It's smiling a cruel, unnatural smile that stretches far too wide, filled with teeth that look sharp as broken glass. The figure steps forward, emerging from the shadows, each step slow and deliberate, as if savoring every second of your terror. You stumble backward, your breath coming in shallow, panicked gasps. You want to run, to scream, but you're frozen, paralyzed by the sheer horror of what's unfolding. The figure raises a hand, skeletal and thin, reaching toward you. Its fingers are impossibly long, curling and twisting, as if they're drawn to your fear, feeding off of it. The air grows colder as it inches closer, and you can feel its presence, heavy and suffocating. Just as it's about to touch you, the lights flicker, casting the room in harsh, blinding flashes. You blink disoriented, and when your vision clears, the figure is gone. The room is silent again, empty. But the dread remains, lingering like a stain in the air. You don't sleep that night. Every time you close your eyes, you see its face, that horrible, twisted smile and those hollow, endless eyes. You can still feel its presence, lurking in the shadows, waiting. And as the first light of dawn creeps into your room, your phone buzzes one last time. The message is short, taunting. "I'll be back." And in the silence, you swear you can hear a faint, mocking whisper, "Did you dare to look behind you?"